Hey besties! Welcome to Two Besties in a Pod with Sika and Sherese. And we're actually in a pod. We will discuss friendships, spirituality, motherhood, relationships, entrepreneurship, etc. Be sure to grab your besties and join us in the pod. It's about to get real.
Hey besties, it's Sika
and Sherese. Thank you all for joining us in the pod today. We do have a special guest with us, Mr. Jay Barnett. Hello, Jay.
Hi, ladies. How y'all doing?
We're great. How are you?
Man, living my best quarantine life.
The best.
The best.
That's right. Okay, so Jay, before we let you introduce yourself to our besties, we're going to start off with some fun questions to just loosen up. We know that you good. You got this, but we just want to see.
Right.
Okay. All right. And there's no right or wrong answer. Just have fun.
All right.
Okay. What is your favorite food?
Favorite food? Gosh. It's my favorite food. Oh man, that's so tough.
That's tough.
I would say one of my favorite type of food is Mediterranean food.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll work. Yeah. Who or what motivates you?
Who or what motivates you? I would say the what would be my legacy. And so that motivates me, like really gets me going to think about, all right, what do you want to leave behind? The who, I would probably say my future family, like future wife and kids. Just knowing that I'm not there yet, or I don't have it, so I'm just motivated by that. So
that's good. All right, who is your celebrity crush?
Oh man, my celebrity crush is Elise Neal.
Okay.
Elise Neal. Oh my God.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
Over there, Jay. I mean, are you blushing? Even talking?
Right.
Man, Elise Neal, if you see this, I would just love to meet you.
We gonna make sure she see this.
Man, listen, man.
We gotta tag her, okay?
Ever since she was on the show, she plays D.L. Hughley's wife. Oh my gosh, man. Oh my God, she's just gorgeous to me.
She's gorgeous. Yes. All right, that's good. Favorite season: winter, spring, summer, or fall?
Spring.
Okay. Rap or R&B?
R&B.
Okay, so since you said R&B, Boyz II Men or Jodeci?
Jodeci.
All right. Would you choose a date night out on the town or Netflix and chill?
Probably date night on the town.
Okay. Picnic or restaurant?
Restaurant.
Okay. Soul food or Mexican food?
Soul food.
All right. Almost finished. If you had to pick one song to listen to for the rest of your life, what song would that be and why?
Ooh. Man, that's a good question. Aretha Franklin, We Going Riding on the Freeway. I think that's it.
All right. Okay. You don't want me to sing, do you, Sika?
Man, like that is like my jam, man. Like when Aretha passed, I have a Dodge Challenger. It's like, with the Hemi, so it's like, the muscle and the sound. It was funny because people, I know they was just like, this dude in this muscle car, like I was blasting that Aretha Franklin song. Like it's just something about that song. That song is just it's so freeing. And so and as she's singing it, like I'm thinking about riding down a road in a pink Cadillac. So my hair blowing in the wind. So yeah, that would probably be the song I would listen to, every day if I could. Yeah. It's just something liberating.
That's a good one. Two more. What would you do with $1 million?
What would I do with $1 million? I would build several RTC, which are residential treatment center for boys and girls. Okay. I will also build a community for the disenfranchised and the misfortunate, but also empowered with wealth management courses that they would have to attend, those things. And for myself, I'm not a very materialistic. I like nice things, but I think for me, it's just really, I will look for ways to not only create more wealth, but just look for ways to where I can continue doing what I'm doing, helping people on a larger platform. And so the more money you have and the resources you have, it just gives you an opportunity to have a greater reach. So
That's right. That's good. All right. And last one. Name a movie that best describes you.
a movie that best described me, Men of Honor,
Okay.
with Good Jr. And I'll tell you why. One of the lines where I think it's Robert De Niro asking him, like one of my favorite movies, is asking him, you know, why do he want this so bad? And he looked at him and says, because they said I couldn't have it. And
Mm,
that moves me every time, man. So yeah, Men of Honor with Cuba Gooding Jr. and Robert De Niro. So
that's good. Well, thank you. And see, I never asked you that question before. Is there a movie that best describes you, Bestie?
I can't think of any.
You can't think of, okay. We'll come back to that. It's just me and you. All right. So, Jay, can you tell our besties who you are? What do you do? Please let them.
yeah, this is always tough for me.
Okay.
I am Jay Barnett. I am an author, a speaker, licensed marriage family therapist associate. I am a agent of change, and so former pro athlete, and I build people. So that's what I do.
All right, that's good. Thank you. Well, we thank you for joining us today. So we're going to get into our topic. So besties, of course, we are talking about bitterness. Like, damn, why are you so bitter? Like the bitter bitches, bitter baby mamas, bitter man. We talking about it all. So the first question that I have for you, have you ever experienced bitterness? And if so, what caused you to overcome it?
Oh yeah. The root of bitterness is at the root of bitterness is always associated with what someone didn't get. And so to have an understanding of that, it's not so much of what people got, it's what they didn't get. What creates the bitterness, creates the resentment, which turns into turmoil, which is fueled by anger, which creates the behavior pattern of animosity to where you can't respond, now you are only reacting. And so I think for me, the times that I've experienced bitterness from people, right, I'm always concerned about what is it attached to, what is it associated with, because a lot of times people are acting out of places that you've never been, or they're acting out from a place that you're not aware of, or you're not connected to it. And so I always encourage people, like one of the things for myself is that don't take it personal.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that's not mine. You know what I mean? And so I refuse to take ownership or to take on somebody else's issues. And then too, I refuse to allow someone to project their issues onto me, and to where it becomes abusive, it becomes negative, and it becomes destructive. And so, yeah, it's just really, you have to take a step back and really assess the situation and say, all right, where's this bitterness coming from? And so I think that's important when you are either experiencing bitterness, or I know for myself when I have identified it in certain individuals.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Sika.
So with you being a marriage therapist, is that you said a marriage therapist?
Marriage and family.
Marriage and family therapist. What do you feel like is the term, and I say term, of bitterness, like on average for people to go through? Because I feel like you got people that go through bitterness and they get over it. Maybe it's that helps, or you have people that are bitter for years and years.
So what was the question again? What is the term?
Yeah, of bitterness.
Like, was it the length or?
The length of time people generally are bitter for you on average.
Oh, well, it depends on how long that person want to continue to carry it. So many times, you know, most people don't want to heal. For one, it's tough. like healing is not running through the rose bush and through the gardens and through the flowers and through, this picture that people paint that, oh, I'm healing and it's so beautiful. It's healing is ugly, man. It's like, it's healing is waking up in the morning and looking in the mirror just like, oh my gosh, what happened last night? It's that look, you know what I mean? And so however long that a person wants to continue to carry that bitterness, that's contingent upon them. And so if they're ready to let it go, they can let it go, but also understanding that it's a process of letting go. And two, some people don't want to heal because it gets some attention to remain broken. It gets some attention because, again, if I remain bitter, I have fuel. It drives my reasoning to not like you. It drives my reasoning to remain who I am. And also people use it to justify their actions. Well, I'm this way because of what happened. I'm this way because of this. And so I always share with clients and people who come in, and I tell them, I'm like, you have to think about the years that you carried this bitterness and think about the length of time that it's going to take you to either heal from this or to move beyond it. So, and that's going to be really contingent upon the client and the individual. And so that term can be short term, it can be long term. So however they wish to move through it, they want to sit in it or sit with it, it depends on them.
That's true. And I totally agree with you, because even in my experience, like, with my breakup with my daughter's father, and I was bitter, like I was mad, I was pissed, and it took me like 2 years to like really let go and get over it and realize like, okay, Reese, he's not for you, but he is a great father, and I cannot take that away from him. So I can't take his child away from him. I'm not trying to stop their relationship, but he was not good for me, and I had to let that go. And then I also learned that he was bitter and he was hurt and he had to heal because he went through a lot. He lost his mom at 15, so he went through a lot, and he just didn't know how to be there for me, and I didn't know how to be there for him. We tried it. We lived together for 10 years, but it didn't work, and it wasn't for us. And I had to like truly heal to learn how to love myself, to learn how to love somebody else, to start dating again. I had to let that man go. And once I let him go, I just felt the relief. So, but it took me 2 years, and I was like, I don't want to be with him. I don't want to be with him. But really, I did. At that time I was saying it, but I did. I was so bitter. I was so hurt. But I made it through.
And that's what matters. That is what
matters. Yes. So with that, do you think that people who like replay what happened to them, their past hurts over and over again, do you think that they're really bitter, or they just don't know how to let it go? They don't know how to let go.
Oh, is that a question for me?
Yes, it is.
Oh yeah. Because what happens is that you continue to replay the as we call mental tapes. And so, and part of therapy is also not only just reframing, but to help individuals to reprogram. So, you think about it, if there's a program that you're constantly running, right, even on your television, just think about the messages and think about how it's inserting itself into your subconscious, right? And so it's the same as when you've experienced trauma or you've experienced some type of event in life. And until you have to break into the control system, which is being open and willing to that healing process or that clinical or therapeutic process, right? There's a challenge to where if you don't get into the control room, the tapes just keep replaying over and over and over and over and over and over. And so when that's what happened with most people, is this is why they remain bitter, is because I won't allow somebody to break into the control center, but then again, I won't allow myself to enter into the room and when I'm talking about the room, and to enter into your mind, right? To enter into that space, to acknowledge that this did happen. Okay, next. You know what I mean? And so if you just keep replaying those tapes, it just keeps deepening the wound to where it's hard to really come out of that. And if you don't change those mental tapes, this becomes the mantra that you live by. And some people really live off of the bitterness, right? Because again, going back to what I said, the bitterness gives me validity. it solidifies with my significance. If I get better, if I get whole, I no longer have this energy or this fuel to drive from bitterness. So now I have to find something else. And so I remember having a conversation with a young lady who was going through something. And for her, she was like, for me to have to let this go, that means I have to become someone new.
Yep. It becomes an
Yeah,
idea.
that's true.
And I was like, yeah. So, again, healing is a not only is a decision, but it's also a process. And it's a process that has to take place in your mind, and then it takes place in your heart, and then it's carried out through your behavior patterns. So, and until you're ready to do that, you're just going to keep playing those mental tapes over and over.
Over and over, yep.
Yeah. It sounds like bitterness can be almost like into depression in ways, because
yeah,
you're so used to feeling a certain way, you don't want to feel another way. And I know we treat depression clinically, like with medication and things. And if it's that bad, a lot of people have got so used to being bitter that they are like they're chemically altered. And at what point does that just turn into a deeper depression? So it's like, sounds like it's good for people to just get in the control room, like you said.
Right. Yeah. And bitterness is like a cancer. Once it enters into the system, man, it begins to attach itself to everything. And it's like what you just said, Asika. Sika, was that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like what you just said, it begins to alter. And people don't realize is that when you allow these toxic and negative emotions to enter into your mind, into your life, it begins to alter your thought process chemically. And this is why DNA can be altered environmental. And so people don't realize that you can alter your DNA if you change the environment. Like if a woman became pregnant in a very disenfranchised and a very low socioeconomic community, that child, it's inherently going to become a certain way because of the environment. Now, take that woman out of that environment and place her into a new environment, or place that man into an environment, is going to reconstruct and alter their DNA altogether, because the environment has such influence on us. So the negative emotion have such influence to where it can alter everything about our body. And this is why many people are sick these days. People are not just sick because of sicknesses itself. It's the internal emotions that people have suppressed. And bitterness will kill you. Like, real talk. Like, it will kill you.
I totally agree. Especially in this time with this quarantine, you can choose to become depressed, or you can fight it. Like, and think about
absolutely
that positive going on that you might not look at if you so far into depression. So yeah. And even a product of our environment, that's a choice too. If you're growing up in an environment, let's say, and I know people always say, oh, you're a product of your environment, a ghetto. You got those people that come out of that. But that's a conscious effort. That is active work. It's not passive.
Yeah.
With bitterness and depression.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely.
That's true. So that brings us back to, like, with people, do you think the people who are bitter, do they find it difficult to say I'm sorry and to forgive others because they're bitter?
Oh yeah, very much so, right? Because most of the people who live in bitterness, right, are the victims, right?
Yeah.
And so many of those people feel that, I'm looking for an apology, or there's no connection to how I played a role in this. And again, it's for an example. So one of the things is, like, even with couples, right? Like, when I'm saying couples, let's say a spouse cheat, and from the outside we say, well, he or she didn't deserve to be cheated on. However, even a person that was cheated on played a role in the infidelity. Again, we're not saying that you provoke them to cheat, but however, there is a role that we all play in it. And what am I saying to that, right? Let's say there was some something that happened that maybe not been your fault. However, you do play a significant role in that process, because going back to what you said, Sika, you have to choose. You have to choose. You know what I mean? And so you have to choose to either to admit and to accept that it happened. But there's also a choice that has to be made, how you move beyond it. Because now you can just take this and wear it as a badge of honor and say, this is what it is. He did this or he said this. Yeah, there's no denying that. And we must validate that. However, what are you going to do from here? And so I think that's the most critical part, that people who live in bitterness are often waiting for someone to come and apologize. And the reality of it is that you may not get that apology, right? So, do you carry this for the rest of your life and this person passes and transition on, but you're still bitter about someone who's dead? You're bitter about someone who left you. You're bitter about the job you didn't get, or you're bitter about the coworker who got the promotion. It's like, why?
Right.
Why? It's limiting your growth, and also it's limiting possible opportunities and spaces for you to evolve, even greater. And so, even when it comes to relationships, I like what Reese said, is like, you have to make the decisions to say, it's not necessarily that, the person doesn't want you, or, the person, like, why could it be that the individual did not have the capacity to function in a relationship at that time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you remain bitter because again, going back, most people who reside in bitterness is associated with what they didn't get.
Right.
So most people are bitter because I didn't get my White House and picket fences. I didn't get my husband. I didn't get the wife. I didn't get the job. Because there's an expectation and there's this idea that is associated with bitterness, that I'm bitter because this didn't happen the way I thought it should. Right. And that is the premise of most people who live in bitterness. I need some water.
That was a word. That was definitely
right.
Because you sit and you think about it. I know I've done it before, and it might not have been like a long-term bitterness, but even with a job, right?
Yep.
So you apply for a job, you interview, everything went well. And I like to bring that to the point that everybody's not bitter about relationships.
Yeah. Exactly.
It could be your parent. But I had the instance where I was bitter about a job. And I want to say this just because if someone's out there bitter, sometimes you got to think about the incidents that's causing you to be bitter. There just might be something better that you were supposed to be in that situation where you didn't get what you thought you were supposed to have, because what we see and think we're supposed to have,
right?
Sometimes not that,
right?
Yeah,
and two, people who reside in bitterness, one of the things is that, when you're a bitter man, you can't trust your own judgment, man. You can't. Right. You can't, man. And it's like, because again, your actions are driven by the emotions. Because bitterness is an emotion. It's driven by how you feel. And if how you feel is the driver of how you live and how you make decisions, that is a scary place to be in.
Yes, it is.
Very scary place to be in.
So would you say that bitterness could go from you being bitter about a relationship, and then it starts to translate into being bitter about life and being bitter about your job, and bitter, is it like a cancer? Like you said, a cancer just takes over every aspect.
Yeah, it takes over every area. I mean, when you look at, you think about, and we're talking about, relationships, we're talking about jobs. I mean, you think about the people who have committed crimes, right? Yeah. That they've taken someone's life. Because, when you watch the Tyler Perry movie, what was it? The one, Acrimony, right?
Yeah.
The rage that drove her was the bitterness of, this woman is getting a lifestyle that I should have had.
She should have had, yeah.
This woman is married. She's in the relationship that I should have had. You know what I mean? And so just think about that for a second. And so bitterness can create not only a range of emotions, but it can also create a range of destructive behaviors, to where now all of a sudden you sit in your car and you're watching the guy, or you sit in the car and you're watching the girl leave, or now you're sending your boss's emails. You know what I mean? It's like, again, you can't trust your judgment when you're in bitterness.
Right.
because bitterness will create such rage, and all of a sudden you made a decision and now you can't come back from it.
That's
And
true.
so when I see bitter people, man, I was like, you know what, man, it's dangerous. It is dangerous. And so I think this is great that you guys are having this discussion on it, because there's so many people that are bitter, about their life. They're bitter about the marriage being, you know what I mean, didn't go as they thought. They're bitter that, and especially you see it a lot amongst, just us as a people and culturally, right?
Yeah.
We're bitter when people are doing better than us perceivably, right? You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
and here's what we do. Who do you think you are?
Yep.
You know?
Yep. It's happened. Because even if they see you happy, and it's like they want to drag you down and want you to be bitter right along with them. And like you said, it's dangerous. I
Yeah.
don't have time for that. Friendships, like, no, you cannot be my friend and you this bitter. Like, because I'm clapping for everybody. All my friends are married. I'm not. I mean, or in a relationship. Most of them are married. I'm not. But I'm in their weddings. I'm clapping for them. All their husbands, their boyfriends treat me like I'm their sister. So it's just like, why would I be bitter because they got what I wanted, before? But if I'm going to be like that, I'm never going to get what I want. So I have to be happy for them. And I am naturally happy for them because I know one day it'll be my turn. So it's like, I don't have time, or I didn't have time to drag nobody down with me, because when I was bitter, nope, I had to get help and move on from that situation. So, and that's what I think that people need to start doing. Like, stop trying to bring somebody else down because you feel a certain way. You're never going to get ahead in life if you continue to do that. So do you think, like, why, like, even with friendships, how I touched on, like, some friends are bitter because, you're doing better than them. And like you said, why do bitter people complain so much?
Again, complaining, validates them.
Okay.
And so complaining gives them the energy, it gives them the fuel. It also gives them the sense of belonging. Because if I don't have anything to complain about or talk about, right, who am I? Where do I belong? And so that's why a lot of them complain. And it's never what's going well. It's always what's going wrong.
Yeah. And then that's just like, it's so easy for people who are bitter, or even general, if you're not bitter, it's easy for people to hold grudges than it is to forgive somebody. And I don't understand that. Like, why?
Right.
That.
Yeah. Why would they let go of the grudge?
They have to find a good reason to. But that kind of leads to, like, so you got recovering bitter addicts, right? People that were bitter for so long, they're recovering from it. What tools can you give them or offer them to help them stay on a track of healing and recovery from being bitter? Because I feel like it's easy to jump back as soon as something else happens, then it triggers you to go back down that road.
I think one of the tools is always you have to be very introspective, and you always have to be reflective to where, because see, once you get to a place of peace and you get to a place of healing, right? I don't care what's going on. Like, you're not going back to that place. You know what I mean? And so you have to remain introspective, constantly looking within yourself, right? And doing these self-checks, is number one. Secondly, is being able to look beyond where you are and to continue to look forward to where you want to go. Because, when you think about operating or living in bitterness, right, the roads you travel is very limited. You know what I mean? It's a road to where there's a lot of miserable people on there, right? And misery loves company. And so I think, and number three is continue pushing forward, like continue to move forward. So be introspective, always look within yourself if something comes up, look ahead, of your journey, and just keep pushing forward. Because once you experience peace, I don't care that there's nothing like peace. And I'm not just talking about, you know, a superficial peace where money's in the bank and, you know, you good, kids are good, job is good. I'm talking about in the midst of what seems as a bad place for some, you just find great solitude in the space to where in your mind and in your heart, you are okay. And once you, until you get to that place, you will always be controlled by the it, the who, and the when, because that's what it is. It's like, what made you bitter, who did it, and when it happened, and that's what's controlling most people. And once you discover that peace, man, I don't care. Like the peace I have now, and gosh, and Reese knows, like I went through something 2 years ago that was tumultuous, right? But to discover peace on the other side of it, like I wouldn't give 2 cents how they feel, what they said. I couldn't, because it was a peace that I discovered that it had nothing to do with them. It had everything to do with how I was willing to process. And once I realized that I was in charge of that peace and that I had to discover, and once I discovered, I had to enter into that peace. So I get to choose, like, yo, I get to choose how I live within this space. And guess what? I don't have to come out of it for nothing and nobody. And so when you get to that place, man, it really just, it puts you in a very serene and tranquility, just, I mean, that you just can't explain it. And it's to the point where ish could be going all, can be going around you. You know what I'm saying? So much can be going on around you. The world could be falling apart, and you'll be sitting there sipping your tea, just your legs crossed, is what I love to do after a long day, and just smiling and just says, man, this feels amazing.
Yep, you're right. We always sip our tea. It feels so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's true. But yep, you got to process and everything. And so with insecurities, does that make people bitter?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. All of that.
Yeah.
All of that.
Because I remember I had a conversation with you about somebody, the girlfriend, and like wanted a relationship with her because was around her, you know. So and I tried everything. So, you know, I'm like, so I had to even let that situation go. Like, you know what? She's secure. She's dealing with bitterness, because you can come to a game. And I looked and I realized that, okay, it's something going on in their relationship, because you can come to a game and you can sit right here with me, but she all the way down there. And it's like, no, you need to be with her, or she need to come down here. And I'm trying to speak to her. I'm trying to talk to her. And I was like, okay, God was like, you just got to let it go, you know, accept it for what it is, because that's how it works for them.
But then again, right? You discovered it had nothing to do with you, really.
Nothing. Yep.
That's the key.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right, Jay.
Exactly.
It did not stem from you. That is something you have no control over. And like you said, it's between them.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And again, going back to, I'm not carrying ish that's not mine.
Yep.
I'm not. That's not mine.
Right.
Like, I'm not carrying it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not. You know, I'm sorry for you. And then too, like, I can't babysit somebody's emotions and somebody's insecurity or feelings of inadequacy. I just can't. You know what I mean? Like, I can't even get, I can't even be, it's hard to even be empathetic, right, about it too, because it's like, yeah, I feel for you. You know, I can't feel with you in that space. So I can't provide sympathy or empathy, right? Because in that space, you have to choose.
Yeah.
If you want to stay there, that's fine. But I'm not coming in. I'm not coming inside. You know what I mean? And so one of the things is I tell people, like, learn how to engage with people who are even, you know what I'm saying, residents in bitterness, right? Because there's some people that you talk to outside of the fence, through the fence. It's like, oh, okay, that's where you are, baby. I love you. God bless you. But you can't come inside these gates.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, you can't come in here, you know, and let them, because again, the moment you invite bitter people into the yard, the next space they're going to get into is they're going to get inside your home, which is your heart
Yep.
and mind. And before you know it, you will they would have infiltrated your mental, spiritual, and emotional capacity, and you will become bitter about stuff that didn't even matter to you before you allowed these people into your yard. And so again, I'm not carrying it. That's why, like, people, I never forget, a lady messaged me one time, and people see me on social media or whatnot, and I think she came across something that I talked about. And this lady had this perception that I was arrogant, that I was cocky, and this and that. Again, for me, I know what this comes from, right? You see a guy who, and again, I'm a very down to earth guy. You're looking at my exterior, and your perception is that this guy thinks he is this. I don't think that.
Right.
Am I passionate about what I do? Absolutely. Am I confident? Yes, I am. Now, I think the lady ended up meeting me in person, and she apologized to me in person, right? I just thought you was this and this and that. You're really a nice guy and down to earth, and I'm so sorry. I said, it's okay. How you feel or what you think, that's not mine.
Right.
Again, you know what I mean? You created this perception, right, based on my exterior, and guess what? It was associated from other men that you dealt with, not from me. So you have a thing with, I guess, meeting men who you think are attractive, right? And you feel that all men who are attractive or have a platform or some form or sense of intelligence, that they have this guy complex. And I told her, I said, I thank you, but I said, because she sent me this message, oh, I think you this, and you're arrogant, this and that. I just said, blessings. I said, that's not mine, but thank you. And I left it at that. And then just so happened to see me in person. It's like, please forgive me. At this point in my life, I encourage people, your listeners, viewers, stop taking on stuff that's not yours.
Thank you.
End of story.
Yep. End of story. That's true. Stop taking it. It's not yours. Yep. That's so true. That's true. And then that brings me back to, like, when you said you let bitter people in. So I have always been taught, like, in my relationships, if we going somewhere, we out. Me and Tom, we about to go out, and I'm pissed at Tom or he mad at me. When we go into this party or wherever we going, I'm not going in there mad at you, because it can be somebody else there and they watching. They want to see you mad. I done seen females come to parties with their men come in, he laughing, he having a good time, he up dancing, and you sitting there like this, like you mad. Like, that gives women the opportunity to get at your man because you mad at him. Nope, we gonna get along while we in here, and we get back in this car and we can talk about this. If I'm too mad at you, because it happened in my past, we was going to, I was out with somebody and we was going to a friend's house. We pulled up, I was too mad. I was crying. I was like, you know what? I can't even let this go. So I'm just gonna drop you off. And when it's over, somebody can bring you back or whatever, because I could not go in there with him because I was too upset. But if I get over it, we going in here, we happy. We gonna fake this funk, and then we get back home. Talk about this, because I don't want nobody in my business. Like, so I don't like when even some men, they do it. Don't come in here acting like that towards your woman, or don't come in here acting like that towards your man, because you letting everybody know what's going on in your household now.
Right. No, that's good. That's good. That's good.
So I don't play that. Like, no, we get along like this my baby right here.
Making a front till you get outside.
Right, okay, till you get outside. Yeah. Okay, we can talk about this.
I have that, I have a thing to where for couples, and even like playing sports, I think it's so important that, when you're in a relationship or even in a family, you never leave the house divided.
Yep.
And what I mean about that, we may be having our challenges. And again, this is not about putting on a facade. This is not about faking the funk. It's just we're making an agreement that what we're dealing inside of this house, to not allow it to be seen on with others, right? To where now they have an end. So we may be at odds, but when we leave this house, we are in sync, we are unified, and we stand together. And I think that's important. I mean, you see it all the time in sports. Doesn't mean that everybody agrees what is going on in the locker room. But when we get out in front of this camera, you know what I mean? We'll deal with the inside when we get in here. But to your point, I think that's important to where you protect that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You protect that and you guard that with great responsibility. So
yeah. Somebody always watching, they looking. Go ahead, Sika.
Yeah, and I was gonna say just to that point that as a married woman, right, and a mature, and I think it took maturity,
right,
to be able to do that, and for people to deal like that and protect your household. I think it's your duty, like, to make sure that when you leave a house that you're protecting your household at all times, guarding your household. Just like as you covered in your piece, you covered in your household. That this is what you focus on. So just being protective of that, like you protective of your peace, not to get better and so bitter or whatever. So yeah, I just want to agree with that. That's exactly what me and my husband do. We do.
Yep, it sure is. I love them. I love y'all.
We walk in, and I'm like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, Sika, I'm trying to figure out like your background, like this so dope. Like I'm jealous. Like
Ain't it dope?
I want to create a dope background too.
That is I'm trying to get out the way so y'all can actually see my head so big. There we go. So
look, man, I was shady.
I'll show you after we get out.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'm not even tech savvy, and I've been figuring some stuff out during quarantine. I might have to start, taking.
I know that's right.
Right. You know what I said I was gonna do? I said I'm gonna learn how to cut grass now. I'm gonna learn how to cut hair. I'm about to do it all.
Oh my God.
Got this YouTube down pat. We got these flyers down pat.
Oh my God.
Bitter if we ask somebody to do something for us and they can't because we got it, right?
Like, okay, I got it. Like, all right, thank you.
Yeah, so I think we got a lot covered. Did you have any
yes.
Things or anything you want to say, Jay, as far as the bitterness thing? Any gems as a therapist that you're like, okay, besties, well, Sherese and Sika besties.
Right.
I think we covered a lot. My only, encouragement, or should I say gem, is what I say often: healing is a journey and wholeness is the destination. And when you're ready to heal, you would take that step. And so many people, again, the healing process is not pretty. It's not, it's very ugly, but it's necessary. But the beauty of healing is that on the other side of it is where you experience the beauty, is where you experience, the flowers per se, because we're always looking for these happy and glamorized endings, right? And so I just encourage everyone, whether it's a coach or whether it's a therapist or a counselor, is to get in a space. And I'm so glad that even during this quarantine time and during this pandemic, I've done over 30 interviews. And so my business has grown tremendously. And so I'm grateful to be a Black male therapist during this time. And so really supports and validates and confirm what God told me a couple of years ago, while I was in school getting my master's, that there was a time that was coming where people were going to need what I had. And so it's a great time to really discover, yourself, to assess and evaluate. And just want everybody to know, like, you don't have to create a new job or create a new, you don't. If you want to take this time to just sit still, that's okay.
Yes.
That's the thing about social media. And we just so, people just hop on so many bandwagon. Like, you see a post like, if you don't come out of this with a new trade, you just waste your time. How so, man? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, use this time like to re-up or to recover, to restore, to rejuvenate, like however you need to. And so again, if you come out of this space having a greater understanding of who you are as a human being, male or female, then your time was served well.
Yeah, that's true. That's good.
People are begging, they like dying to get outside, but before we had to go out, it was like, I just need a break.
Right.
We
got what we asked for.
We sure did.
You're right. Exactly.
We got a break. Yeah, so this is good. So before we go, y'all know I love giving to people and giving them their flowers. So I just want to say to Jay, like, thank you. I mean, you guys, if you need coaching, he'll coach you. He's excellent. He could be your therapist, but he cannot be your friend because he's my friend. I'm just playing. So, you know, he is a wonderful man, an excellent brother, son, uncle, friend, whatever. I mean, a good listener. So I appreciate you. And
Yes.
to my bestie Sika, she know I love her. Girl, you know, I love you. Thank you for always being there for me, showing me things, teaching me new things. So I love y'all so much. Thank y'all. I ain't gonna get emotional.
Yeah, please don't. Yeah, this is
It's the May baby in me. Y'all,
yeah,
it's my birthday month.
yeah.
So thank y'all so much. I love y'all.
No, thank you. Thank you guys for having me a part of your podcast. I really love it. The name is dope. The concept is dope. And also, I'm proud of Reese for stepping out on faith. She told me she was going to do this. I think like a year ago, she wanted to do this. And so it's always great to see, like, and she know I love women who are like just doing purpose, man. Like, for one, to me, I think it's so grand to see women stepping up in the role of purpose, of their own purpose, and fulfilling it, right? Because so many times we are celebrating men of companies, men who doing these great things. But I think to see you young ladies coming together to create a platform for women to educate them and to enrich their lives is amazing. And Reese, we're childhood friends, and so we grew up together. And
Yes,
so
we
just to
did.
see where
I
we
got a picture of him somewhere in a diaper. So
no, you do not. No, you do not. The devil is a liar, and the truth does not live in you. But no, thank
I
you.
wouldn't do that to you.
No, it's all good. Like, you know, so but no, blessings to the both of you, and thank you guys for having me on. And truly,
Thank you.
I really admire the work that you both are doing with your platform.
Thank you so much, Jay.
Can you leave your information for our besties?
Oh yes, go ahead.
And so on, even your contact information for your therapy and coaching.
Yes, so you can reach me at kjbcoaching.com, kjbcoaching.com. So it is counseling and coaching. We do individual, couples, group, and also if you are interested and you have male friends or men, I am hosting starting tonight is our second week of our free 4-week emotional IQ training for men only. So you can go to my Instagram, King Jay Barnett, and click on the link. And it is for men only. You sign up, and we meet every Wednesday from 7:30 to 8:30. So it's been really great.
Awesome.
That's good. And we'll make sure we tag him on the page and everything.
Yeah.
Definitely that. Well, thank
All
you.
right.
Yes, thank you guys for having me.
You're welcome. You can stay on if you want. So besties, we'll see y'all next week.
Okay. All right. Bye.